Hello, my name is Madeline Castleberry, and this is my data overview for Tiger Creek Elementary School. The purpose of this data overview is to dig deeper into Tiger Creek Elementary School's data using the Using Data process in order to identify trends and gaps and then develop plans to help students and teachers to see a positive change in the data through instructional practices, curriculum adjustments, and changes to the data team's members and purpose. So this data overview is focused more on Tiger Creek Elementary School, and in specific, it targets grades 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and it deals with their scores in all content areas on the Georgia milestones. Tiger Creek Elementary School is a Title I school located in the Northwest region of Georgia in Catoosa County, which is a charter system. Tiger Creek has an amazing faculty and staff who works very hard every year to provide our students with what they need. However, TCE students' performance on the milestones each year in all content areas is below the county and state scores. Therefore, through the use of the UDP, I am looking forward to digging into this data in hopes to increase our student performance through data analyzation, an action plan, teaching strategies, and adjustments to the curriculum. So, as I stated, our Georgia milestone scores are below the state and district levels in all content areas. So, I took 3 years worth of that data, and I'm hoping that we can analyze some of it today and come up with some questions just to kind of ask ourselves to see why this is happening, or if we're seeing any trends in specific areas or in subgroups of students. So, looking forward to it. So I wanted to kind of talk about our student demographics before we get started. So Tiger Creek Elementary School has a total of it was 511-ish students, but with students coming in and out digital, or if kids are getting homeschooled or coming back to face, it's very fluid right now and it changes. But the last time I checked, it was 511. These are our demographics with ethnicity and race. And as you can see, the majority of students at Tiger Creek are white. We do have the next highest percent is African Americans or Hispanics, I'm sorry, with 4%. And then the rest are 2 and 1. So the overwhelming majority is white students. Tiger Creek staff demographics are 100% white. And it's actually all white females too, except 2 men. We only have 2 men in the whole entire building. One is our principal and another is a math interventionist, but the rest of the teachers are white females. So we're very similar to the student demographics too. And on our staff, I think we have 42 teachers. Right at 42 is what we had. So that's just kind of a quick overview of the students and teachers to give you kind of a background of what Tiger Creek consists of. Also wanted to pull up some subgroups of students. So the slide before, I broke down students by race and ethnicity. This is subgroups of students. We have economically disadvantaged, English language learners, and students with disability. So our students, out of the 511 students, 34 of those students are economically disadvantaged. We are a Title I school. So, and at the moment, because of COVID too, all of our students get free lunch and free breakfast, actually. So yeah, we have 34% who are economically disadvantaged. We have only 2% that are English language learners. So that kind of falls under 1 student per grade level. We only have 1 ELL teacher, and she actually splits her time between us and another school in the county. And then we have students with disabilities. We have 18% of our 511 students who qualify under the disability. So that's just kind of another background where you can kind of see the subgroups. And on the next slide, actually, our first kind of data with test scores is the 2019 Georgia Milestones data according to these subgroups. So I pulled up a graph so you can kind of see the academic gaps between these. So right down here, the blue line represents all students at Tiger Creek, all 511. Economically disadvantaged students are represented by the orange line, and then students with disabilities are represented by the gray line. And as you can see right off the bat, students with disabilities, their highest number of students performing is at the beginning level in all content areas. So this is reading, this is mathematics, science, and social studies. The highest number of them performing is in the beginning level, which would not be considered passing on the Georgia Milestones. So Georgia Milestones gives you a 1, 2, 3, or 4. So 1 is beginning, 2 is developing, 3 is proficient, and 4 is distinguished. Proficient is passing. So anything below that, students are not considered on grade level or passing. So you can kind of see the huge gap too between our students with disabilities and our economically disadvantaged students and all of our students. There's not as big of an academic gap between economically disadvantaged and the whole student body, but you can clearly see how big of a gap it is between our students with disabilities. So that's kind of a starter for you to think of with subgroups. This will only use 2019's data for this section because we did not get to take the milestones in the spring due to COVID-19. So this is the most accurate data to kind of show you some of those academic gaps between those subgroups. So let's get started. So this is also 2019 Georgia Milestones data in reading and math. And what I did was I separated it. So Tiger Creek is represented in blue, Catoosa County's orange, and then the state, Georgia, is gray. So I wanted to compare where our students are scoring to the district and to the state level. And if you'll notice, our student scoring in the distinguished level is always so low. But our highest level of students' performance is always in the developing stage, which is not considered passing. So, and like I said, this is the most recent data that the students would have taken in 2019. And then here's science and social studies. And it's the same. Our highest number of students is at developing, which is not passing. And our students who are performing at the distinguished level is very, very low. And yes, you may see that our percentage right here is higher than the county and the state, but this is not passing. So really, we don't want to be higher than them right here because this is showing that our students are not, we have more students that are not passing than we should. So the takeaways from these two data points, I would say we are below the state and county level with percentage of students performing at the distinguished level, and we have higher percentage of students performing at the beginning level than district and state in all content areas, which is what we just talked about. So this would be the year before that. So this is 2018. It's set up the same way, and I'm still seeing that same trend where we have way more students than the state and district performing below grade level. And still in the distinguished area, we do not have, I mean, it's a huge gap. It's a huge gap between the two. So that was reading and math. This is science and social studies. And you can just tell going from here, look at how many at least we had distinguished here. And it just goes straight down. So, but there is some, this is in science right here. And developing, we actually were below the district level on that, which is an improvement. So the takeaways from the 2018 data, we still were below in state county levels with percentage of students' performance at the distinguished level, and our highest percentage of students performing at the developing level in all content areas. So developing level would be 2, which is still not passing, but more than likely students who do score a 2 or score on the developing stage, they do get to retake it at the end of the year. So, because that's still not considered passing. Let's go back 3 years. So 2017. So this is reading and this is math. If you'll notice this distinguished column down here, we had way more students who were scoring at the distinguished level in 2017 than we did in 2018, 2019. So it kind of slowly went down is what it's seeming like. We're still holding the highest spot right here though in developing. Our highest percentage of students is scoring below grade level. And then this is science and social studies. And if you'll notice right here, we did not have any students score at the distinguished level. But our highest, I mean, there's a huge gap too right here between the Catoosa County and Tiger Creek scoring. There's a huge gap in the developing stage, which means we had way more students than the average at the district did for students not passing. So the takeaways from that data were 0 students performing at the distinguished level in science and social studies, and our highest percentage of students still performing at the developing level in all content areas. So if you'll notice, that takeaway has been on all 3 slides because it's been true all 3 years. So our highest percentage of students we have are all performing at the developing level in all content areas, which is not considered passing. So that's kind of a red flag right there that we have so many kids who are at that level. They're not split in between a 2 and a 3 to where half are passing and half are not. It's kind of like an overwhelming majority is all in the developing stage, which is not considered passing or showing mastery of content standards. So our data strength and weaknesses, one of our strengths is a percentage of students performing at the proficiency level in mathematics is higher than the state percentage, which is good, which means we're scoring a little bit higher than they are in mathematics, which Tiger Creek has talked before. We have a really good math program going. We use Embark Online, which is Eureka Math. We love it. The kids seem to get it. So that's kind of showing in our data. But by far our weaknesses are the other 3 content areas. And actually right here, I put the weakness. Our social studies has the highest percentage of students at the developing stage with very little students showing proficiency across all 3 years. So social studies by far they all had the highest number of students scoring in the developing stage, but social studies kind of took the cake because 0 students showed performance in the distinguished level. I mean, the majority, at least 80% of those kids performed in the developing stage, which is not considered passing. So after looking at the data, because I know that was a lot I threw at you, we just went through 3 years of data and we looked at it compared to the district level and the state level. So now that we've looked at it, I kind of want you to think about the areas of concern shown through the data. I brought up some areas that I see right off the bat. You may have found more, which is awesome. I would love for you to kind of talk about it, question it, and think about it. And just think, do you believe these to be accurate? So after looking at this data, would you say you see these issues in your classroom too? Or do you not see these issues? Or is this like completely surprising you when you saw this data? I would love to know your thoughts. And if so, if you do see these concerns in the classroom, how are you seeing these concerns? Are you seeing it in just one content area? Are you seeing it across the board? Are you not seeing it all? Or do you have ways we can address these areas? So have you been trying out something new because you've already noticed the stuff in your classroom? So you've already kind of implemented new instructional strategies? Have you looked into different curriculums? Have you started integrating more technology in content areas? Any of those things, I would love, love, love to chat with you and just kind of go over some more of this data and analyze it and just think. The more we think and the more we analyze it and the more we work together, we can come up with ways to help these students perform better and master these content areas, because obviously we are having some concern and some achievement gaps in not only our students with disabilities, as showed in the beginning, but the vast majority of students at our school in each grade level are performing at the developing level, which is failing. It's not passing. So there's definitely some things we need to work on. But I just want to get your thoughts, get your questions, get your predictions. Why do you think this is the way it is? Do you think it's a certain curriculum we use? Do you think it's a scheduling issue? I would love to hear what you think. Yeah, so let me know. Like I said, my name's Madeline Castleberry. You can email me or you can come down to my room, talk to me, either one. But I would love to hear your thoughts and concerns. And I would love for us to go ahead and get started on the using data process to take this and kind of make a game plan from it. Get with our data team and make a game plan for, and when I say data team, I mean our SIT team who meets during the school day. Talk with them and just see what our next steps are so that we can go ahead and tackle this head on and work through it. So thank you so much.